Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Final Score with Matthew and
Stevie Fly.
What's up, guys? The Final Score is back in the house again tonight. It is Wednesday night. We usually do on Thursday, but we got something coming up tomorrow night, and I can't do it. So Eric's still down there. How about them Cowboys? But with us, to explain this, Matt, not Matt. What's up with that?
Yeah. Some people think they can walk on me, walk
Oh,
all over me.
oh, you about to open up a can of whoop ass on them, ain't you?
But yes, sir. Think,
All
people think they can walk all over me. I'm Matt, MATT, not MAT.
right, I got you.
Yes,
How you
sir.
doing, bud?
I can't complain. Hope you are. Good to
Yeah,
be back.
doing good. And with us again, he's wearing Cowboys in memory of Marion Barber down there, number 24. With me is Eric Sawyer. What's up, bud?
Marion the Barbarian, baby. You.
I liked him better when he wore Bobby Boucher last week. But anyway, a lot going on this week. We talked last week was the free agency frenzy. That continues and got a little crazier this weekend, especially for my boys. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, talk some ACC tournament basketball, and then we're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. March Madness is here. We're at March Madness Eve right now. So talk about free agency. It's crazy as it got a little crazier with, I'm going to talk about my boys. So we talked about what a good move it was picking up Russell Wilson. You only paid him a little over $1 million for a year. And it was going to be a quarterback competition. So between him and Kenny Pickett, they're going in there. And apparently Kenny Pickett gets told that Russell Wilson is going to be QB1 to start off with going into camp. Kenny Pickett has a little temper tantrum and decides, I don't want to be here anymore. And then, word started getting out the night before. I think that happened on Friday when he got sent down the road. But word started getting around Thursday night that he was the subject. We talked about last week that I'd heard that he was in a lot of trade talks. One of them was Minnesota. But he ends up Friday getting sent to Philadelphia. And word starts coming out here and there. He's not happy with the Wilson signing. He's been told this, he's been told that. I don't know what's been said behind the scenes, but I'll tell you this: it is not a good look for Kenny Pickett, especially coming off the end of last year when he gets hurt. Mason Rudolph comes in. The offense plays a lot better. He apparently doesn't want to dress out as the emergency quarterback for one of those games, and then ask if there's anything he learned while watching Mason Rudolph on the field. He says no. That's the only thing he would say. Not a good look when you do that. And Pittsburgh says, Omar Khan says, hey, guess what, bud? I'm going to send you down the road. And then it's pretty much a swap for draft picks. That's all it was. And I don't have the details right in front of me. But he goes to Philadelphia. And here's the thing. If he was so upset about playing behind Russell Wilson, he had more of a chance of playing in Pittsburgh than he will in Philadelphia, being the QB2 behind Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts is getting paid $200-some million. That's the franchise quarterback, and he's not going anywhere anytime soon from what I can tell. Russell Wilson has a 1-year contract. So before we go any further, What are you guys think about this whole? And I'll start with you, Matthew. What do you think about this whole deal with Kenny Pickett going to Philadelphia and all this crap that's going on? Before
I
don't,
think,
don't even mention what happens next.
I think Kenny Pickett should have kept his mouth shut because even though he was going to be playing QB2 behind Russell Wilson, I think he would have had a lot of playing time. Um, if I'm not mistaken, you said well they said that he was going to be playing for the first half, right? I mean Russell Wilson's going to be playing for the first portion.
He goes into camp as QB1 from what I was hearing. So it wasn't a definite thing that he was going to be the starter. He's just entering camp as QB1, and they were going to have whoever, preseason, whoever plays better would get QB1 going into the regular season. So it wasn't like a done deal.
Right. That's right. So now you got to fight. You don't want to play QB2 or be an emergency quarterback. Now you got to play against arguably, not in my opinion, but one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Jalen Hurts. You'll
Yeah.
probably never get playing time unless he breaks his finger.
Well, he has to have to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he should have kept his mouth shut, and
Yeah.
he would have been better off.
Yeah, not a good move. In what I'm here. What do you think? What's your thoughts, Eric?
I think Kenny Pickett should have just, like you said, kept his mouth shut. And I agree with Matthew. I mean, now you end up in Philadelphia behind Jalen Hurts, which is I'm like Matthew. I don't like to say it, but he is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So I mean, you really got shut up now. I mean, you play at Pittsburgh, you got a chance. I mean, of going over Russell Wilson. I mean, because Russell Wilson is, on the last
5 years old.
last season or two, he's been up and down. I mean, you don't know what you can get here with him. With Jalen Hurts, you know what you can get with him. You can win games. Yeah. But if Jalen Hurts does hurt a fan, like he's known to do, and plays in Philadelphia, with that offense, Kenny Pickett, I mean, he's liable to shine, but he's definitely not going to get any shot to start over Jalen Hurts, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I just think it was poor judgment on his part to do that. Makes him look like he's not a team player. And I know it's with some of these guys, it's all about what can you do for me. But this isn't what he projected himself to be when he came to Pittsburgh, when he got drafted by Pittsburgh, and it's just a really bad look for it. So then you start thinking about it. The quarterback room in Pittsburgh is mighty lonely. Mason Rudolph's gone. Kenny Pickett's gone. The only quarterback in the quarterback room in Pittsburgh is Russell Wilson. So you're figuring they're going to make a move. Is it going to be Ryan Tannehill? Is it going to be so-and-so? Josh Dobbs is out there who played for the Steelers and had a decent year at times but he's an older quarterback. Both of these guys are older quarterbacks. You kind of wondered, are they going to draft somebody? Or are they going to make a move? And I was sitting there, I forgot who it was, texting me Friday afternoon, and I was like, it was my buddy Daniel Bennett. That's who it was. He's a Panthers fan. He was like, man, he said, y'all really screwed this up. I said, I don't think we screwed it up. I said, but we've got to get somebody. And I said, the only person I see we can really get is Justin Fields. And it was about 30 minutes later, he texted me, said, boy, you call that. And here comes Justin Fields, traded to the Steelers for a conditional 2025 6th-round pick. It could turn into a 4th-round pick if Fields plays at least 51% of the Steelers snaps this year, which he's going in. Nothing's changed. Wilson is going in as QB1, and Fields will be backing him up. So we got Pittsburgh's got two starter starting quarterbacks or quarterbacks that started last year for a little over $3 million in salary. And granted, they would have to think about picking up Fields' fifth-year option, which is going to be up there, or doing something with. I've been hearing both sides of the ball on that. I'm not sure, I don't think you can really make a decision yet on who you go with. I mean, you look at Fields is young, and Russell Wilson don't have much gas left in his tank. You don't know how much longer he can play. Whether he can be Tom Brady and play well into his 40s, or if he can play another year and that's it. But it's gonna depend on what you see in camp, and what you see on the field in the season, who they decide to go forward with. If they even go forward with, they could draft a quarterback, maybe second or third round or something like that, and decide to go there. But I think it was, Omar Khan, I will have to say, he has made some really good moves in this offseason. And what I'm hearing, he's not done yet. Of course, Deontay Johnson is gone. And people wondering why they traded Deontay Johnson. I'll give you a little heads up. This came out this week. Pittsburgh was scared his attitude was going to rub off on Pickens. And, I mean, Pickens has had his moments, especially this past year, of showing his butt. But you don't need another guy in there, let it rub off on him a little bit more. So they said that was word coming out that the attitude, and they were scared it was going to rub off on Pickens. What do you guys think about Pittsburgh picking up Fields? I'll start with Eric this time. What do you think about Pittsburgh picking up Fields?
I think if I break that on the field, 10 be 100 over 10. I think that was a steal. I mean, you talking about, like you said, Wilson, leadership, 35 years old. I mean, they play the same style. I mean, Justin Fields looks like a younger Russell Wilson. Besides, he's not, that small. But I mean, they same style quarterback. And like you said, you get both of them for less than $3 million a year. I mean, one of them goes down, you don't have to sit there and wonder, well, my season's done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, Justin Fields' time to shine. Is he better than Russell Wilson? It's kind of both of it. Justin Fields is at that stage now where he's like, I need to prove that I'm an elite quarterback. And then Russell Wilson is at that stage where, well, I'm pretty much over my elite thing, but I still can play. I mean, and I want to show people I can play. That's why I feel like Pittsburgh is in a good position, especially quarterback-wise, to go to the playoffs and maybe go deep in the playoffs.
Matthew, what's your thoughts?
I'm with Eric. I think it was a steal. I remember us talking last week about, Justin Fields. And I remember you saying, like, no, I don't want him. I just don't think he's that good. And I said, he's not that bad either. In a good system. Look who he was playing with one of the worst franchises right now. Get him in a good system, and I think he'll be a very good quarterback, let alone a good backup for Russell Wilson. If y'all go and draft a quarterback, that's probably even better because that young quarterback has got now two. Would you consider Fields a veteran? Or not
Yeah,
yet?
I mean he's in his fourth year now. This will be his fourth year.
So now that young quarterback's got two different veterans to look to learn from, and maybe all of this is preparing Steelers with a young quarterback to hit its future.
And I'm trying to bring up now. There was a comparison, and I don't know if I sent it to either one of y'all, between, and granted, the only thing I see, okay, all right, here it is right here. Comparing Lamar Jackson to Justin Fields, his stats last year. You guys listen to this. Okay, dropbacks. Lamar Jackson, 663. Justin Fields, 668. Completion percentage. Jackson had 66%. Fields had 62%. Yards per attempt, 7.8 for Jackson, 6.8 for Fields. Touchdown to interception ratio. Lamar Jackson had 26 touchdown passes to 8 interceptions. Fields had 26 touchdown passes to 14 interceptions. Rushing yards. Lamar Jackson, 1,032. Justin Fields, 1,376. Rushing touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, 6. Justin Fields, 9. So, really, in a bad situation in Chicago, and granted, they didn't have fun. He does fumble a lot. Justin Fields is going to have to clean that up. He fumbles a lot. But his stats are right there with the so-called MVP of the league. I mean, we'll see. I hope a change. I'm still not sold on it. I think it was a good move because we had to have somebody in there as a backup that is capable. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him out there to see what he can do. See what he can do in a change of scenery and a new offense with more weapons. We need to get another receiver in there and help him out a little bit there. But good move by Pittsburgh, in my opinion. I mean, that's another good move they made. They've been making on paper a lot of good moves this offseason. It's not something very active is not something I've seen in years past. In my 45 years of being a Steelers fan, I haven't seen them be this active in free agency. So maybe it's a new era of Pittsburgh Steelers. So, were we on the air last week when Washington? We had just gone on. We just broke that story, I guess, on here. We didn't break it to the nation, but about Sam Howell going to the Seahawks, right? We did talk about that last week. Yeah, then you got Keenan Allen. I don't know if you guys saw this coming. The Bears acquire Keenan Allen from the Chargers. And I'm thinking to myself, Mike Williams signs with the Jets on Monday. Keenan Allen, gone. Austin Eckler, gone. What has Justin Herbert got left in L.A. now? You got this franchise quarterback, but you're not giving him any weapons. What is going on in L.A. right now? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Matthew.
I don't know what their cap space looked like, but I don't know how much they were paying Austin Eckler, but I'm sure it's going to save them some space. I think what they're doing is focusing on the draft. Other than that, they haven't picked up nobody that I know of anyway.
Yeah, they would last cap space.
Well, see,
they would last in cap space.
Oh yeah, so they had to do something. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's why I think they're going to focus on the draft.
Well, my thing is, you got all these. You're going to have to hope you find somebody that can. All right, Gus Edwards. They pick him up at running back. That's your starting running back. Here's your starting wide receivers right now: Quentin Johnston and Darius Davis. And at tight end, Will Dissly. You got Hayden Hurst as the backup. I don't keep up with the Chargers too much, but those names don't strike fear in the hearts of any defense out there.
No, sir.
Gus Edwards is he had a good stint with the Ravens, but he got hurt. I mean, I knew Eckler was probably gone. I knew that, but I did not think Keenan Allen was going. I mean, you got all this stuff on defense that you're paying for. You got Khalil Mack, you got Derwin James, you got Joey Bosa on defense that you're paying, Asante Samuel Jr. So, and your defense is not shutting people down. It's typical. and I know this is probably before y'all's time. Back in the day when they were the San Diego Chargers, they had Dan Fouts, they had Kellen Winslow, they had Charlie Joyner, Wes Chandler, John Jefferson, Chuck Muncie, James Brooks. They had the offensive firepower, and they could score 35 to 40 points a game, but their defense would give up 36 to 41 points, and they could not do it. They couldn't do anything. So, I mean, you got all this money over there, but you're still not shutting teams down. I just don't know what the plan is here. I mean, they may focus on the draft. I know cap space, but you can, to be sure, they could have. And with Mike Williams, I know he's been injury prone, and you take a chance there. So seeing him go wasn't surprising. But Keenan Allen is like, he's been the mainstay for the Chargers for years, and maybe that's why they're letting him go now so they could get something for him. But Keenan Allen also shows up at Pro Day today at USC for Caleb Williams, watching Caleb Williams, who, what I heard, I haven't seen, I think it comes on NFL Network tonight at 8 o'clock. You can watch it. He aired it out, and he was throwing, he bombed one about 70 yards in the air. So, yeah, Caleb Williams probably solidified his spot at number 1 pick and the Bears are probably going to take him. But that was just one thing, with them. I just don't know. We'll see how the Chargers run. All you Chargers fans out there, if you're out there, chime in and let us know what you think about the mass exodus on the offensive side of the ball in LA. Eric, you look like you got something on your mind down there. It looks like smoke coming out of your ears. What's going on?
Well, that Keenan Allen. A lot of people, all right, let's go just last year. We can go further beyond that, but let's focus on usually the starting quarter, the number 1 draft pick 9 times out of 10 is the quarterback, and he goes to most of the time a crappy situation. Caleb Williams gets drafted into a really good situation as long as they can get some offensive linemen. Keenan Allen and now DJ Moore. I mean, you got two really good weapons right there to start off your NFL career.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I'll say this about Chicago. Chicago has made some moves this year, and they are definitely planning. I mean, of course, when you saw them trade Fields, everybody they tipped their hat and tipped their hand like in a car game. They tipped their hand. They're going to pick a quarterback, and more than likely, I would be shocked if it was not Caleb Williams now. Looking at some other news, of course, we had a retirement this week. Future Hall of Famer, no doubt, Aaron Donald from the Rams retires. I know this was talked about when the year they won the Super Bowl. It was that he may not come back. As crazy as that sounded, he may not come back. He may retire, but decides to retire this year. He posted on social media, "Cheers to what's next. Sending a big thank you to the Rams and all the fans for your support over these last 10 years. Much love." He added, "Not many people get drafted to a team, win a world championship with that team, and retire with that team. I do not and will not take that for granted." So, and I want to say it was crazy what I read, and I may be wrong, but did Barry Sanders retire after 10 years?
Yes.
Aaron Donald and Barry Sanders retire after 10 years. Of course, Barry didn't get that Super Bowl, but Donald finished his career with 543 total tackles, 176 for loss, 111 sacks, 260 quarterback hits, and 24 forced fumbles. His sack total ranks him number 28 on the all-time leaderboard, and that's from the interior line. I mean, this guy was a monster, and probably I don't know health-wise how he is. I know he's slowed down a little, maybe a little bit, and I'd say just a little bit. But yeah, what do you guys think about Aaron Donald?
I think Aaron Donald he will go down as, like you said, one of the greatest interior defensive linemen of all time.
Yeah.
Like you said, just playing interior defensive line, all them sacks. I mean, you can count the tackles, because most times the defensive interior, they're known to stop the run. But, I mean, Aaron Donald was a force to be reckoned with. I mean, most time when you seen offensive team line up with the ball, they would double team him, triple team him at the center and the two guards. I mean, whatever he was lined up on, I mean, he was 9 times out of 10 he was double team, if not triple team.
Yeah.
Force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. What about you, Matthew?
I was gonna say the same thing about getting double teamed and triple teamed, and Aaron Donald's one of the only ones I know that can get double and triple teamed and still make a play out of it. I saw a compilation on YouTube, and it was other players talking about defenses that other players that put fear in their eyes when they were on the field together.
Yeah.
And it was like Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald. And then like they made like a little song out of it. It was kind of funny, but you're right, Steve. He was a monster. He was always fun to watch too.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
wouldn't want to face up with him.
Speaking of the Rams get a backup quarterback this week too. Rams signed Jimmy Garoppolo headed to the Rams.
He was retired.
This guy he's got the looks and all this stuff. He's all that. I guess he dates porn stars from what he has in the past. But come on, I'm not excited about Jimmy G anymore. That boat has gone. Let's see what's up, Austin Van? How you doing, buddy? I don't know who that
They
is.
must have hired. They must have hired. They must have hired Jimmy to be an IR coach.
Evidently. What'd you say, Eric?
Mason Vane's little brother.
Oh, okay. What's up, Austin? Okay. Get your brother straight now. Get your brother straight in there. I'm sure Mason will be chiming in a minute too. So looking at some of the other moves up here, I did like this. Patrick Queen made it his introductory press conference with the Steelers. They had him and Wilson and I forget the other guy that we picked up in Carolina. Said he is ready to be the villain if he needed to be versus the Ravens. Now he's not a. He said I'm not a. He said he's not a Raven anymore. He's ready to take them out, which I like hearing that. But Eric, you lose an All-Pro lineman. Tyron Smith headed to the Jets. What on earth is going on in Jerryland? What is going on over there, bud? I mean, y'all just decide that y'all gonna take free agency off?
We're all in on the releases, Reno. All in on the releases.
Jerry's gonna play. He's gonna play running back. He's gonna play offensive line. He's gonna play all that stuff. What in the world? What is going on in Jerryland?
I don't know. We lose Tyron Smith. That hurt because that's one of them players, like you said, like an Aaron Donald. He's been with the Cowboys. If I remember correctly, he got drafted in 2011. I mean, he's been with the Cowboys 12, 13 years. I mean, that's one of them guys you see him in a different uniform, and it's like, what's going on? And then, but it hurts to lose him. But today we lose our best interior defensive lineman and Hankin.
Who'd he go to? I didn't even see that yet.
Oh my God. I wish you didn't ask me now. That's gonna bug me. I cannot remember who he went to, but I seen it today. He's gone. And I'm like, well, Van Ness retired.
Yeah. And you knew that was coming though. They released him, but Van Der Esch, that's one thing you don't do is play around with your neck. And he had some neck injuries in college. Did it again last year. You don't play around with your neck in football. You want to be able to be, I don't know if he has kids or what, or wants to have kids. You want to be able to walk and play with your kids once football is over. And I thought it was a good move by him.
And Michael Gallup, he goes to the Ravens. Well, he didn't go
He's talking to the Ravens. He hadn't officially signed yet.
talking to the Ravens.
Yeah.
But that one didn't hurt me. But the Tyron Smith and the Hankins, I mean, that hurt me as a Cowboys fan. It's like we said last week. What are we all in on? I mean, all in on. Let's go for the next year's high draft pick.
He went to Seattle.
Yeah.
God knows, boy, y'all losing them left and right. I don't even know if you and Robbie Birdsong gonna have to sign up and play.
I know that's what
Birdsong's got that trick knee. He can't play too much.
What's the Facebook post? Cowboys fan,
Cat Williams.
Bring your jersey to tryouts.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
tryout.
Gosh, no, it's gonna be y'all gonna have to be. What was the name of that daggum? The movie about the Redskins strike team with what's his name? I can't even think of his name now. Oh Lord, I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, moving on.
Who was Dallas picked up? Sorry, Stephen.
Nobody.
Eric Kendricks is that's the only, and that was a great pickup. I said that last. Excellent pickup. I mean, very good, but grade that on Dallas free agency. It's like the F- ain't even
compared to what they've lost to make that pickup. I mean, that takes Vander Esch's place, but the rest of the stuff, and you're not used to, as much as I'm surprised at Pittsburgh being so active. I know you're surprised with Dallas not being active. They're usually really active in free agency. So this is really like a bizarre world in free agency right now.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We're talking about the draft. I mean, is this going to be Dallas? Usually, every once in a while make a splash. Are they trying? Is Dallas eyeing somebody they want to jump up and get, or they just? I mean, I have no idea.
Well, they got Prescott to revise his contract to reduce the cap hit, and usually when they do something like that, it means they're going to make a move. But then, Prescott's expecting an extension again, so I don't know what they're going to do. I'm kind of surprised with this, but another move, Tyler Huntley, backup quarterback for the Ravens, stays in the AFC North. He goes to the Browns. Browns have a pretty big quarterback room now, but it's the Browns, guys. Can they screw it up? Yes, they can screw it up, but they are definitely making the right moves too. AFC North is really active in free agency right now, except for the Bengals. I haven't seen the Bengals do much, so I don't know what they got going on there. They've got a lot with the wide receiver room they've got to focus on between Boyd and Higgins. So the Saints get Chase Young, 1-year deal, who comes off half a season with the 49ers. He gets a 1-year deal worth reportedly $13 million. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think he was so bad when he got to the 49ers. I don't know why Washington let him and Sweat go. They were, and you think about with Sweat may be the only, Montez Sweat may be the only player to ever lead two teams in sacks in the same season. He led the Bears and the Commanders in sacks that season. So, I don't know. A lot of that mess with Washington's defense, the aura of Washington's defense that they had is gone now. And as soon as I say Bengals didn't do nothing, Bengals signed Trent Brown to a 1-year deal, a big offensive lineman. So they've got monsters at both tackles now, over 340 and 325-pound tackles now. So it's gonna be hard to get to Burrow, but we'll find a way.
Who they
think we can beat the Bengals? We day. That's what we say. Of course, we talked about Mike Williams joining the Jets, 1-year deal. He was supposed to meet with Pittsburgh later in the week, but didn't get that far. So, looking at there's 20 free agents remaining. Justin Simmons, Odell Beckham. I know our boy Deshaun. Who's he going to be putting for you next year with Odell leaving the Ravens? Michael Thomas. That's the Saints. It's longtime Saints wide receiver. Somebody could pick him up, probably get him for a deal. Stephon Gilmore is still out there. Another Cowboy out there. Xavier Howard still out there. Tre'Davious White still out there. Jadeveon Clowney. Tyler Boyd. Ryan Tannehill still out there. Somebody looking for a decent backup quarterback. David Bakhtiari from the Packers. Jamal Adams. Julian Blackman. Quandre Diggs. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. J.K. Dobbins. Calais Campbell. That may be somebody y'all pick up right there. J.K. Dobbins there. Calais Campbell. Hunter Renfrow. Emmanuel Ogba. Eddie Jackson. That's the top 20 that are still out there. So you still got time there. Still got time, but you might have slim pickings.
I still think Dallas is going to get a running back in the draft without a doubt. But I don't know if they're going to get him in the first round. But I feel like they're going to take Zeke back.
That's been talked about. You're right. That has been talked about. Maybe Zeke coming back to the Cowboys. And wouldn't be a bad move for the Cowboys. On either side, it would be a bad move for him as well.
We already pay him $6 million anyway. He might as well come
play. Might as well get some playing time out of him. All right. So get away from football for a few minutes. We talk about football a lot up here, but the madness is here. Like I said, it's Madness Eve right now. March Madness, of course, the NCAA tournament starting tomorrow. The play-in games are starting. I don't really consider the play-in games that big of a deal to me. I keep up with them, but I don't really watch them. But before we get to that, we had the ACC tournament this past weekend. Finished it up this past weekend. And have we gone back to 1983 all over again? Is Duran playing Hungry Like the Wolf? And we're all wearing painters caps and like that. I know you guys want to lie about them, but man, NC State revisiting the Cardiac Pack. They get 5 wins in 5 days. And I'm a Carolina basketball fan, but Hubert Davis made the comment, winning 5 games in 5 days really isn't that big of a deal. That's a bunch of BS. You're winning 5 games in 5 days is a big deal, especially when you're playing in that win or go home mentality. That is big time. And for State to come up and listen, when I say 1983, State has to win the ACC tournament to get in to the big dance. 1983, State had to win the ACC tournament to get in the big dance. And Carolina fell along the way, not the championship game. Carolina and Virginia were the last 2 games in 83 in a different order. Carolina and Virginia were the last 2 teams in this tournament. And guess who's the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament this year? Houston. Everybody remembers Phi Slamma Jamma from 1983. They were a number 1 seed back in 83 that State ends up upsetting. Of course, everybody remembers the famous, if you listen to Derek Wittenberg, and we had him on when we had the Tobacco Road Weekly, we interviewed Derek Wittenberg. The planned pass to Lorenzo Charles for the dunk at the end of it to give him a huge upset, 54-52. Man, and here's the thing. Like I said, I'm a Carolina basketball fan, but State winning that did not upset me. And now I'm one of these guys at State. I've never had a problem with NC State. Never had a problem. And I guess it was because from the start, I became a huge Jim Valvano fan back in the day. I mean, you could not – anybody out there, and I'm sure I'll get some people say, yeah, I could, but you could not help but like Valvano. And I'm not saying – I was saying this back in 83, 82. You see him on the news. He's joking around. but the guy flat out coached. I mean, the coaching job he did against Houston, putting guys on the free throw line didn't come around till Valvano used that in that game, and that's what helped. That helped a lot winning that game. But man, what are you guys? Let's see what you guys' thoughts on this ACC tournament and NC State winning the tournament. Start with you, Eric.
I think I talked to a guy today, a State fan, and like I said, I talked to my dad. He's a big State fan, and I told him, I said this will go down as one of the greatest ACC tournament. I'm talking about such as the team thing ever, because scratch the five games. The last 3 games. Don't get me wrong, the Syracuse and Boston College, that counts. But you beat 3 top 25 teams back to back to back. And then like I said, you win the tournament. Hats off to NC State, because I thought when you got to Carolina, because like you said, you done played Duke and you played Virginia, and that Virginia game went to overtime. I was thinking NC State's gonna be gassed.
Yeah, me too.
NC State's gonna be gassed. Carolina's gonna come out, strike early, and just hold them down. Well, that was completely opposite, because State came out like they weren't tired at all, and they just held heat to us. Hats off to State. Like I said, I'm still a Carolina fan, but hats off to State. They've a great tournament.
All right, Matthew.
I'm also a Carolina fan, die hard, and it didn't hurt me it did, but it didn't. I would have been a lot more upset if it was Duke or if somebody like that. But State deserved it. They really did. They played hard. 5 games in 5 days is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a lot of traveling and that's a lot of work in a little amount of time. And like I said, I think all of us thought they're going to be gassed out. And it was, like I said, it was the opposite. We couldn't hit no threes. Armando Bacot got shut out 3 times by this Burns guy this year. It was like, wow. And then R.J. Davis, him, one of the best player in the league, I think, couldn't hit nothing. Like, I think they went 3 and 17 threes. Like, since when I don't know how to make threes.
I know they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, that's for sure.
Sure couldn't. And I was not used to that. I'm like, damn, they are really choking. And then State's just like playing with them, just poking at them like this, doing whatever. And DJ Burns, he's awesome. And Horn, he's amazing too. What's his first? DJ Horn. He's good too, but it should have been Carolina.
Well, you know what? I heard a lot of NC State fans, and one in particular that is a supporter of the show. He listens from time to time, and he posts a lot. The whole way through, he was putting whoever they play, like go Duke, go Virginia. He didn't put Go Carolina up there, but because he wanted Keats gone. Well, the thing about that is, Keats got those guys motivated somehow. Because let me tell you, I knew Carolina was in trouble in that first half. And I don't know if you guys remember hearing the commentator talking about Horn. They said, man, Horn is just out there smiling. He's grinning from ear to ear. He's having fun. And all of those guys were out there having fun. I mean, and they didn't look like the team that had played 5 games in 5 days. They looked the exact opposite. I remember back in, gosh, I can't remember the year. And this is before they went to this 5-game format. I think it was 4. The most you could play was 4 games. But State did 4 games, and it may have been when Stackhouse and Wallace were at Carolina. But Justin Gainey, he played point guard for NC State. They played 4 games and got to the championship game, and this was like an underdog thing. And Justin Gainey played every minute of every game, 4 games in 4 days. And they, State came out firing, but they ran out of gas in the second half against Carolina that day. And, you see that. But this State team, we're going to get into the brackets in just a second. But the State team could be dangerous. I would not want to be the team, Texas Tech, playing them. And Texas Tech is hearing it right now too. Their coach is telling them, this is the cardiac pack all over again, guys. You guys need to end the Cinderella story right now. That's what I would be telling them as a coach. You can't let them get ahead. You can't play around with them. You gotta put it on them and get them out of here. But getting ready to fill out my bracket tonight. Me and Eric and Matthew were talking about it. And we're not having a bracket with the final score this year. Maybe we'll do it next year. But just running down, want to get you guys thoughts, who you think is going to win in some of these games. We'll just go quickly through these. Of course, you got the number 1 seed UConn taking on Stetson. I think that's a no-brainer there. I don't think there's going to be an upset there. Stetson gets the win. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. you put that on FanDuel, buddy. We probably ain't going to see you no more.
No, you probably won't. Florida Atlantic against Northwestern. That's the 8-9 seed. That's always a toss-up game right there. I might go Northwestern on that.
I think I'm going to go Florida Atlantic.
Okay. Yeah. San Diego State versus UAB.
UAB. Go ahead.
5 versus 12. I was going to say the same thing, Eric. UAB didn't look bad from what I saw. They look really explosive. I'm going to pick UAB to win that game.
I do too. I got you. They look really good.
Yep. There, Matthew. You ain't fell asleep on me, have you?
No. We're going lagging or something. But we're on UAB, right?
Yeah, I'm going UAB on that one.
Yeah, me too.
Auburn versus Yale. Auburn looked really good this weekend. I think they won the SEC championship, I believe. Bruce Pearl got his team fired up, got them playing good. Auburn with a big win over Yale for sure.
Yeah, I'm going Auburn.
BYU versus Duquesne. 6 versus 11.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean some of these teams I'm gonna be just guessing on, and I might go with upset mode. Maybe I'll take Duquesne in that. No offense, BYU. Don't send you guys after me. Illinois versus Morehead State. Definitely Illinois there.
All right.
Washington State versus Drake. A 7 versus a 10.
I'm going Drake.
Drake. Let's go Drake. Let's see. Iowa State versus South Dakota State. Iowa State was on the verge of a number 1 seed. Iowa State's playing really good basketball right now. I got Iowa State winning that one for sure.
Iowa State.
All right. And this is what I don't understand here, guys. This is the West region coming up now. That's what I'm talking about right now. Number 1 seed in the West, North Carolina Tar Heels. Where are they playing in the first round, Eric? You know?
They're playing in Charlotte, right?
Okay, what the hell are they calling the West region for? There's nothing west about Charlotte. That was the whole thing. I don't understand it. I mean, I know somebody said, well, maybe they're letting the first seed of each play closer to home. That don't make a hill of beans anymore, dude. Carolina was probably the number 4 team then because they got the last number 1 seed, I believe. They need to get, and I'm a Carolina fan, but they need to get shipped out west to Utah or somewhere like that. That's what they did. That's what they did back in the old days. Just because you're a number 1 seed, that doesn't mean you still get to have that advantage of playing close to home. If you wanted to be closer to home, you should have been the number 1 overall seed because they probably would have put you closer to home. Right. But North Carolina and Wagner, hopefully hopefully we don't jinx it and Wagner come up with a horseshoe and beat Carolina. But I think Carolina wins.
Tar.
Who?
Tar. Ew.
Mississippi State and Michigan State. I'm gonna have Michigan State there, and I kind of worry about that second round matchup with Michigan State with Carolina. That kind of worries me there, but we'll see. Here's a good one right here, buddy. St. Mary's versus Grand Canyon.
Go St. Mary's, baby.
I may be wrong here, but
Grand
I
Canyon.
don't think Grand Canyon has ever been. I've ever seen Grand Canyon in this tournament. I may be wrong, but Alabama versus Charleston. Charleston always had good teams, guys.
Yeah, but I'm going with Greenbow, Alabama.
Greenbow,
Greenbow.
Alabama. You know what? I may pull for Charleston in this one. I may be a Charleston fan for this one because Clemson versus New Mexico.
Clemson.
New Mexico.
I kind of wonder about Clemson myself. They had some good games, but they kind of faded down the stretch. Baylor versus Colgate.
Baylor's tough.
Baylor is tough.
Baylor is good.
Dayton versus Nevada. That's a toss up for me. Dayton's got a good team.
I don't
though.
even know.
I think Dayton gets a win there.
I was about to say I'll go upset with Dayton.
No, Nevada's the lower seed now.
Really?
Nevada's number 10 seed. Dayton's 7th. Let's see. Arizona versus Long Beach State. Am I crazy, or do I think this matchup has happened before, and Long Beach State gave Arizona a hard time? I may be wrong. Long Beach State put it on somebody one year in the NCAA tournament.
What is Arizona?
Arizona's number 2 seed. 215 right there, buddy. And
But
look,
that's
that's become a lot more common than it used to be, a number 2 seed getting beat.
That's what I think that's the one I'm going to be my bracket buster.
Long Beach State.
Long Beach State versus Arizona.
So let's go to the other side. Houston, the number 1 seed versus Longwood. Houston got we lost there. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go back and screenshot that picture of whatever that was that hit his phone, the look on his face. Oh, there.
He done knocked the whole camera out and everything.
Well, I can hear you. We can hear you. So that's all right. That's probably better with it, so I don't have to look at that Dallas stuff anymore. All right, Nebraska and Texas A&M. You hear me, Eric?
Yeah,
You hear me.
I got Nebraska.
I'm going
I take that back. I take it back. I take
A&M on that.
yeah. I'm taking that back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, here we go. He's back. Nebraska and A&M, Texas A&M. Eric, who you got?
Nebraska. The Nebraska's got that foreign kid. I can't think of his name. It's something weird, but he can play. Tom Toe, but I can't think of his name. But I seen him one of the games. He went off.
All right, now this could be my bracket buster right here. The next one, Wisconsin versus James Madison.
Yes.
James Madison has already won 30 games this year, guys. They're 30-some and maybe 31-3. James Madison is an explosive team. I'm gonna pick James Madison to beat Wisconsin.
Well, what's the seeding on that one?
5-12.
I wouldn't be scared to go James Madison on that one either.
Didn't James Madison make a run a few years back?
Yep, JMU. Yep.
About 4 years ago.
What was his name? Shaka Smart, who's coaching somewhere else now. Where's he at now?
Shaka Winity.
Not Chaka Winity. He's got his whoever it is. He's got it play good guys. I'm sorry, I don't keep up with college basketball much as I used to anymore. Duke versus Vermont.
I
Duke
hate
struggling lost 2 in a row. Can they make it 3 in a row and make an early exit?
it'd be. I would be.
Nice.
I do not see it against Vermont.
I'm gonna tell you what. It's been crickets with the Duke fans the last 2 weeks. I
It's
mean,
been lovely.
I've been like, wait a minute, all I hear is Jerry Johnson. I'm talking to you, buddy. Where you at? Where you at? You fade away.
Bye bye Dukies.
Texas Tech and NC State.
That would be the perfect time to flush the toilet, Stevie.
Huh?
I'm
How
going.
about Duke?
I'm going to only do this for one time, and this for the state fans. I'm going for the Pack. Pack's
I'm
going to
going Pack. I'm going Wolfpack. I would say that Kentucky versus Oakland. Yeah, I think
Kentucky.
That's what I think. I think that's when State's going to run out of magic right there. When Kentucky beats them, then State. I think State beats Texas Tech and plays Kentucky, and Kentucky knocks them out.
All right. This next, Florida is a number 7 seed, and they're waiting for a playing game. Okay. I got a question. I'm going to hold up my hand like I did in class back when I was in elementary school. I got a question, Mr. NCAA basketball president.
Yes.
If you're doing a freaking playing game, why are the playing games going to play a number 7 seed? I mean, you're pretty much saying these 8 teams that are playing the playing games are the last 8 teams out. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why, instead of having them play the number 7 seed or the number, and one of them, Purdue is waiting on one. This is what makes no sense. There's no sense to it. Florida's the number 7 team waiting on the playing game. Purdue is a number 1 seed. They're waiting on a playing game. Why don't you just have the play-in winners play the freaking all 4 the number 1 seeds? I don't understand can somebody out there explain to me the reason? Because I've been wondering it for all these years. Explain to me why it's like that.
I agree with you. They should play the number 1 seed because if they think they're good enough to be in the NCAA tournament, go ahead and knock off one of the top 4 teams in the country.
I mean, why are you giving? And they did it again. Texas playing Colorado State, who destroyed Virginia last night. Virginia scores 14 points in the first half. Chris Andressen, I'm sorry, buddy. Your Wahoos, they didn't look good last night. But yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, you're giving a number 7 seed an advantage. And I mean, why not give it to the 6 seed? Why not 5, 4? Why does the number 7 team get that advantage? Explain it to me, NCAA. I want to hear from you.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
I feel like though this has been going on for a few years now.
It has been.
It's been going on, for a few years, and it keeps getting like worse.
Because the way,
but I think I know what it is. Sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go ahead, bud.
If they get these bigger teams out too soon, the less people is going to watch.
But here's the thing right here, and I'm looking at the NCAA.com bracket with the seedings. The 4 playing games, and Grambling and Montana State are playing right now. They're considered 16 seeds. Okay? So they're going to play, whoever wins this is going to play Purdue. Howard and Wagner played, I think, yesterday. Wagner wins. They ended up playing a number 1 seed. They're both 16 seeds. Virginia and Colorado State are 10 seeds. Why are 2 10 seeds playing a playing game? And Boise State and Colorado playing tonight. They're 10 seeds. Why are they playing if you're going to do that, why don't you have, let's see, why isn't Longwood playing Stetson for a playing game? Why don't you do the 16 seeds and the 15 seeds? Why don't you do that? I mean, it makes no sense to me at all. And that's what grinds my gears on this episode. I'm Peter Griffin. So, we don't know who Florida's playing yet. So I guess it's going to be the winner of the Boise. Oh no, it's going to be the winner of Colorado Boise State. So you going Florida?
Okay.
I got my little rant over with. Let's see. Marquette versus Western Kentucky. That may be where Shaka Smart is right there. I think Marquette.
I'm going Marquette.
Yeah, I think that's it. Marquette is the number 2 seed. Why aren't they playing in a play-in game? Stupid. I'm going to see if that's Shaka Smart right quick before we move on. It's bothering me. Let's see. Marquette basketball. And of course.
I didn't know Marquette was that high up, though.
Yeah,
Shaka Smart's their coach. So that's
Marquette's been dominating with the Big East.
yeah. They were 23-8, second in the Big East this year.
Wow.
Okay, moving on to the last region. Purdue, a number 1 seed. They're going to play the winner of Grambling and Montana State. So I think Purdue's going to have that wrapped up.
Boilermaker.
Boilermakers. Utah State versus TCU. Oh,
Go Horned Frogs.
I'll go TCU on that. I'm like you, Eric. What are you doing back there? You sound like you're in a tunnel back there, bud. Where you at? Where you at, man?
I'm actually in the living room this time.
Okay. All right, you got a number 5 seed, Gonzaga. And guys, you remember how many years Gonzaga was the Cinderella team? Gonzaga was always a team that you pulled for because they were always the ones that were the Cinderella team. Then it got to where they were up there. They got so good, you forgot they were the Cinderella team. So they're kind of dropping back a little bit now to where they're not exactly a Cinderella team, but they're not the cream of the crop anymore. Number 5 seed versus McNeese State. I think Gonzaga gets the win there.
I'm going McNeese.
Oh, Lord. You put that on FanDuel, we ain't going to see you no more, buddy. Like you said earlier.
I'm going Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Zags.
Kansas versus Samford.
Sanford.
No, I got Kansas. Kansas kind of struggling here in the last half of the season. They got blown out by Houston, 30 points by Houston.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, so maybe that lit a fire under them. South Carolina versus Oregon, the Ducks. Oh, that's going to be.
Y'all might think I'm on flack, but I'm going for the Ducks.
Because I think South Carolina was kind of wondering if they would even get in. They were one of the teams that they had the cameras there watching them to see if they would get in. You know what? I'm going to go with South Carolina. I'm going
South Carolina. Go Gamecocks.
Go Cocky. Creighton. This is a good matchup here. Creighton versus Akron. Creighton is the number 3 seed. Creighton's playing good ball.
They are.
What is Akron?
Akron, they're the 14th seed. It's 3 versus 14.
I'm going there. I'm
going Creighton.
I'm going for it.
You going to Akron?
I'm going Akron.
You gonna put that in your bracket?
I'm gonna get my bracket. I'm gonna put Akron in there.
All right, we'll see. That'll be one loss right there for you right there. You picking too many upsets. There ain't gonna be this many upsets.
You don't want to be on FanDuel.
2 years been tough now.
Texas versus Colorado State.
Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas gets a win there.
Longhorn.
I think Colorado.
Hook them up. Oh, Colorado State. You can pull for Colorado State, huh?
Yep. And
then the last but not least, Tennessee versus St. Peter's. And no, you're not going to the pearly gates.
No, go Vols.
Yeah, I think the Vols get the win.
Yeah.
Rick Barnes, I think he's. I don't like Rick Barnes, but I think Tennessee gets the win there. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated next week when we come on. We'll keep you updated on how our brackets look. I'm sure if Eric picks all these upsets, boy, I don't think it's going to be too great for Eric. But anyway, what do I know? He could end up winning $1 million off of it. FanDuel, baby.
I'm gonna have to go there and print one off and then fill it out. See how it works out.
How many freaking with FanDuel and betting legal? How many people you think are losing their crap and betting on everything now? There's probably been a lot of calls in North Carolina to Gamblers Anonymous here in the last week or so, but I just can't do it, dude. I mean, even if it's a sure thing, I can remember when I was a kid, my uncle, he knew I was a big Steelers fan, and they were going into the last game. Maybe it wasn't the last game. They were playing the Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland absolutely sucked that year. And my uncle bet me, he said, "I'll bet you a drink that Cleveland beats Pittsburgh today." I was like, "Hey, ain't no way that's going to happen." I was like 8 or 9 years old. Dang, Cleveland didn't dominate Pittsburgh that day. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I have never liked the sure thing, and not gonna happen. But I'm not going to use FanDuel, I don't think.
No, that's what me. I thought about doing some of that stuff, but this team right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good Lord.
Has seen me lose money, and I said, I got to the last time I done it. I said, I'm not doing it no more. I said, no more. I said, because when I felt like I wanted to bet, the Cowboys would win, and then when I was like you said, a sure thing, I think Cowboys gonna win. They let me down. I was like, man, I can't do it no more. Can't do it.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty tempting to a lot of people though if it hadn't already. Some people, and there's a couple of guys I know that get so lucky on everything. I mean, going to the casino, they'll come or scratching lottery tickets. I could scratch 1,000 lottery tickets. I might get $5 out of 1,000. That's just my luck. But this guy, and I ain't gonna say his name, but he'll scratch one a week. It seems like he wins $400 or $500 every time he scratches one. Kills me. The rich get richer. But all right, finishing up. Any last words, Matthew?
Yep. Let me write my note. Let me get my notes. By the way, just so y'all know, I'm holding a piece of paper, pretending like I can read it, and the paper's upside down. If y'all want to do, we're doing a little donation here for Stevie. Go to www.gofundme.com/Stevie Fields. We're trying to donate enough money to buy him a Justin Fields jersey.
I told y'all, hold off on that one, buddy. Hold off on that one.
They're gonna take y'all to the Super Bowl this year, Stevie. He gonna do it.
There's only a few Steelers jerseys I have that haven't been to a Super Bowl, haven't won a Super Bowl. T.J. Watt's probably, I think, the only one I've got that ain't a Super Bowl winner. I've got probably like 10 to 12 of them. So you guys,
if y'all want a good wide receiver, we'll trade you Darius Slayton for T.J. Watt.
We don't need what is it? You seen Rocky 3, hadn't you?
Yes, sir.
Remember the first fight with Clubber Lang and Rocky when Apollo gets in the ring? I'll tell you like this, Matthew. I don't need no has-been hanging in my corner. And I don't need no giants hanging in my corner. Good old Clubber Lang, boy. I heard
you, Kenny Pickett.
Hey, Kenny Pickett's gone, dude. Kenny Pickett's old.
I know.
He's old news. I'm glad I didn't. I see. That's why I hold off on these jerseys. That's why I hold off on these jerseys. I got a Kenny Pickett rookie card over here. That one's getting ready to go. It ain't in the trash, but it ain't gonna be on my Steelers showcase over here no more. That's for sure.
But this past year, I just got me a signed Saquon Barkley jersey, and now look at where he is.
You hold on to that.
I ain't give it up.
He's not dead to you like old what's his name?
Oh,
Rondé said. You're dead to me. That was
Tiki
so
Barber said it too.
Tiki. Yeah, it was Tiki. I'm sorry, it was Tiki.
Yeah.
Rondé was the one from Tampa Bay.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. Any last words?
We're all in.
Oh, gosh.
I ain't gonna say it this week. We're all in.
Yeah, you don't need to say it this week. I mean, you need to. That may be jinxing you every time you say it. That may be jinxing y'all.
We're all in, and I'm glad to be back on the show. And I hope I can be a regular up here because I flat out enjoy it.
Yeah, we got a good little thing going up here with us three. I think that might be the crew. We might expand, might turn into the next ESPN. You never know. The Alaska Sports Network, LSPN. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this week. You guys fill your brackets out. I know most of you already have. I'm going to go online tonight, fill mine out, and try to make sense of why you got number 10 seeds playing play-in games. Stupid crap. But anyway, you guys have a great week. Don't you do it, Eric. And we'll see you next week on the Final Score.
I ain't gonna do it.